Hello SOLIDWORKS Power Users and welcome to the 28 Power User Challenge. This is Alin Vergato. There are going to be several mini challenges that you're going to take part of. The first one is about putting together a very simple assembly and preserving this type of degrees of freedom. I'm going to give you all the parts and the structure of the assembly. So right now you can see that this assembly contains one subassembly which is made out of 3 parts and 6 other components. Actually there's 2 instances of this one, so that altogether there are going to be 7 components plus the subassembly. We're going to put it together without using the feature manager, without using keyboard shortcuts, and without using any icons. Just as a reminder, if you want to hide the feature manager, you can press F9 or simply press this tab. If you want to hide all the icons, you press F10. I cannot do it right now because F10 is also a shortcut for recording tool. So I'm simply going to turn off Enable Command Manager. So what we need to do is start a new assembly. Obviously hide the feature manager. I will probably leave the origins visible. And we're going to start putting this together. So in order to avoid using the property manager, feature manager, we would use just the task pane. So for those of you who are not familiar, if you go to the design library, you can add a file location, which will point to the folder where you're going to save the parts that I gave you. So in this case, I added this folder. The first component is going to be the bracket. Now, since I don't want to have a fixed relation, I'm just going to leave it somewhere on the side. I don't want to insert another one, so I'm going to press either escape, or if you want, you can press the D key to get the OK and cancel button next to your mouse. So I'm not inserting another one. This being the first component that was inserted, this is a fixed component. It has a fixed condition. If you try to drag it, you see it tells you it is fixed. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is float it. Then select the 2 origins and take advantage of the quick toolbar to apply a coincident relation. The next component I'm going to add is the Yoke Mail. So again, I'm going to drag it. I'm going to hit escape to stop inserting another one. Mating, I would like these 2 faces to be concentric, so you can use the quick mate command, or if you want to take advantage of some of the newer functionality, you can actually use the mate command. If you're taking a look at my mouse, the green check mark next to my cursor tells me that if I right click, the mate is going to be applied, so I don't need to do anything else, just right click. I'm still in the mate command. I'm just going to reveal that I'm still in the mate command here. And what I want is this face to be mated to the face that it's underneath this one. I'm going to select this one. New in SOLIDWORKS 2019. If you hover with the mouse over a face that you want to remove, you simply press the Alt key and it's removing that face. So you can see how you can simply add this quite quickly. So now I'm going to press OK. You want to get rid of the mate command, you either press escape or again take advantage of the D key to get you to the cancel button. Next thing I'm going to add is this little spider. Mating tools. Again, I would encourage you to use the quick mate in this case. And at this point, there is an interesting discussion to be had. Do you want to apply a with mate, which is going to be acceptable for this challenge, or do you want to apply a coincident plane-to-plane mate? So I'm going to cover both of them. For the with mate, what you need are 2 spaces that are going to be centered on each other. So those spaces, in this case, I'm going to select using faces. The spaces can be selected with planar faces, but also you can use a cylindrical face. So notice I already have this pre-selected. I have the Control key pressed. I'm selecting this face and this face. So these 3 faces give you access to the with mate. Notice in 2020, you give other options for the with mate, including free center dimension. Right now I'm just going to accept it. This is fully mated. The other discussion I would like to have is in case you want to apply best practices for building large assemblies where the with mate is going to slow it down, might be worth exploring also the opportunity to use primary planes for mating. Also, you probably noticed that I'm using the breadcrumbs to quickly identify the mates for this part. So what I do here, I click on a face, I press the D key, delta, to get the breadcrumbs close to my mouse. Then I can simply see here that this part has 2 mates. I can select the with mate and I can delete it. So now this is free to move. In order to quickly get the primary planes on, you can take advantage of new functionality in SOLIDWORKS. If the planes are visible, you have access to the primary planes. And the way this works, if nothing is selected, SOLIDWORKS is going to show the primary planes of the main assembly. If something is selected, like for example these 2 parts, SOLIDWORKS is going to show the primary planes of those parts. So I can select this, and apply coincident. I want to hide those primary plane. Again, I'm going to select these 2 and find the primary planes. Notice that also this can be shortcutted. So you can use probably P to hide show primary planes. So a couple of options for you. The next one I will add is going to be the Yoke Female. And again, I'm going to have these 2 concentric and a with mate. Notice I have too many things on the screen right now. Wouldn't be a bad idea to isolate only the ones I want to work with. So again, I'm going to select this face, and this face, and I'm going to apply the with mate or use the primary plane technique. Both of them are going to be acceptable for the context of this challenge. The last one, I would like to apply a mate between this face and this face. If you use the quick mate, you think the coincident is going to do the trick. Just be aware that the chain of mates doesn't close on this face. So fortunately, starting with 2017, we have the cancel button. So the mate did not get created. One thing you can do is select the 2 and simply use the mate button. And you're going to see that SOLIDWORKS figures out that parallel is the closest possible, or the best mate in this case. So I'm going to click OK. We're also going to insert a part that has 2 configurations. So if I open this part, you can see that it has a long and a short configuration. So let's make this in position. I'm going to drag it in. I'm going to use the long one first, and I'm going to hit escape. So let's mate it here. Now, one thing to also consider, you are free to use in this challenge the component preview window, which is very powerful. That enables to see this in its own window, and you can rotate it as you can see in its own window. So if I want to apply the next mate, I can select this face, Control select this face, and apply, for example, the with mate. Or you can again use the primary plane method and then exit the preview. Let's make 2 copies of this one and select the 2, change the configurations to short, and right click. I would like to mate this 2 to this part. So let's see if we can do that directly using the quick view mate. The quick mate, sorry, not quick view mate. Then I want this face and this face to be tangent. New in SOLIDWORKS 2020, the ability to flip the mate alignment directly on the screen, which is pretty useful. Let's do it again here. These 2, concentric, and this face, tangent, and I'm going to change the alignment. And looks like I picked the wrong face in this case. Fortunately, I can take advantage of the breadcrumbs to flip the mate alignment for the concentric mate, and then flip the mate alignment for the tangency. Right, so a little boo-boo that can be solved that way. Obviously, if you do that during the contest, you're gonna lose important seconds. Let's exit the isolate, and we are kind of done here. The next thing we want to do is to build a sub-assembly containing these 3 parts, these 2 and this one. Now, one thing I can do in order to save time, I can build this subassembly directly in the main assembly. So I'm going to drag the first part in. It's going to be this crankshaft. I'm going to drag the crank arm. And the other thing that you can use for mating is taking advantage of the smart mating technique, where you hold down the Alt key, you pick up a face, you drag it. Notice how the whole part becomes transparent, and there is a little paper clip attached to my mouse. The moment I touch another face that's similar, SOLIDWORKS is going to propose, in this case, a concentric mate. I let go, the mate got created. One thing I like about this functionality is that it allows you to apply mates even if the faces are obscuring one another. So if I see the original face, I hold down the Alt key and I drag, notice how the whole part gets transparent, so I can simply select the second part. And I let go, the mate gets created. The last thing I would like to do is to get maybe this edge mated to this face. So again, select the edge, hold down the Alt key and go over that face. Now, unfortunately, the way I have it here, this part is not fixed. So maybe I would like to temporarily fix this part so it doesn't move. So let's try again. Let's see if I can run the Alt key in this mode. And it works. Coincident added. And let's continue. I'm going to leave this part temporarily fixed. You can see here the part is temporarily fixed. I'm going to add also the crank knob. Oh, looks like I cannot do that as long as I'm in here. So I'm going to exit, get the crank knob. And let's take advantage of the smart mating technique to apply two mates at the same time. I'm going to pick up this edge, which is the boundary between these two faces. Hold down Alt and drag it over this edge. And mates between each face are going to be added. So you can see right now I have concentric face to face and coincident face to face. One thing that you might remember, let me undo this. If you want to change the alignment, you can. So I'm going to hold down again Alt key, come over here. I release the Alt key. I still have the mouse left mouse held. And if I press the Tab key, I can change the alignment. Now remember, this tree should be a subassembly, so I'm going to select them, right click, and I'm going to make a new subassembly. So let's say that's my new subassembly, and now they act together. You're going to finish up by mating this to the main assembly. Just to reveal what I did, you can see there is a new subassembly created there. You can name it if you want. You don't need to for the purpose of this challenge. One thing I would like to do when I made this together is probably to select the whole subassembly, and again your breadcrumbs are your best friends. Press the key, select the subassembly, and take advantage of the component preview window. So now I can focus here and here for mating purposes. So I can take this face and this face to be concentric. Notice how this guy is kind of obscuring the part I want to mate to. So one cool thing about component preview, I can hide this component here. So I can continue adding things. I want to add this face and this face to be parallel. Now you're wondering, am I getting the right orientation? Let's check. I can actually have this shown as transparent or as wireframe. So if I move it up, looks like I got the correct orientation for that. And the last thing I would like to do is a distance between this face and this face. A distance made of 1 millimeter. So in this case, I just want to make sure I'm going in the right direction. I can always flip the alignment to see if I'm going in the right direction. So I want to go up. Click OK. Exit the preview. Your job is done. If you're looking at the number of mates and the type of mates that I created, one thing I would like to do is taking a look at the performance evaluation. So at this point, since the challenge is done, I'm going to turn back on the command manager. It's a quick way to find performance evaluation under Evaluate tab. And you can see here there are 17 mates that you will apply. And the mates are the ones that you saw in this video. So this is the first challenge. Build this assembly using exactly these mates without using the feature manager or the command manager. What we're expecting to see from you, it's a video maybe taken with your phone or with a camera showing your mouse, keyboard, and your screen. If you can at the same time also record your screen using something like Camtasia or another video recorder, feel free to do that, but we need the video from your phone. One thing we suggest is to keep the phone or tablet that you're going to use for recording the video in landscape mode. Thank you, and good luck.